everyone. Well, welcome to one of my favorite topics. I'm entitling it Move 37. And essentially what we're going to talk about is a very complex ancient game where Google designed a artificial intelligence platform to play this game and then competed against the world expert in this game. But how this one move in this very, very complex game, I think gives us a very neat glimpse into who God is and how his mind is so brilliant. So with that, let's get started. And I want to first anchor us into scripture that really kind of highlights what we're going to be talking about here. So Isaiah 55, 8-9, I'll just read it for you. A lot of you are probably familiar with it. But it says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." So that verse anchors us into this topic. So with that, let's go a little bit deeper now and kind of breaking apart and discussing what I mentioned earlier about kind of the three main players in this. So all right. So first, as I mentioned before, there's on the left-hand side, you see this ancient game called Go. It was invented 2,500 years ago, over that, in China. The rules are simple but extremely complex. So in the Go has the board. It's larger than a chessboard. So it's 19 rows by 19 rows, or 19 columns by 19 rows, however you want to look at it. And the games are longer than chess. So that's one key element. And I think one of the most amazing things about this is if one were to look at the number of legal board positions that you could play on Go, it would be approximately 2.1 times 10 to the 170th power, whatever that means. Here's what it means. Whatever that would equal, right? Put it in your calculator, it's a lot of zeros. What that means is that is vastly more than the number of atoms in what we can see in even the universe, which you can see is estimated to be 1 to the 10 times 10 to the 80th power. So think about that. The amount of possible combinations of move on this simple game is there's more possible moves in this game than there are observable atoms in the universe. That just underscores the complexity of this game. Okay, so then next, let's move to AlphaGo. So what is AlphaGo? AlphaGo is this artificial intelligence computer program. It was built on a neural network. That's kind of the machine learning algorithm underneath it. That was designed specifically to play this game. Okay, and it was developed by a company called DeepMind that Google acquired. Okay, so that's one player, AlphaGo. The other player, Lee Sedol. So he is a South Korean, but he's a former professional Go player of the highest rank. So think about within the Go world, he was your Wayne Gretzky, your Michael Jordan, your Tom Brady, right? Whoever you want to throw as the greatest. He was up in that stratosphere. So he was the other competitor. Now, it's about 5 years ago. And so in March of 2016, Lee and AlphaGo had a 5-game match. It was broadcast live, and the prize was $1 million. And essentially, in Asia, this was kind of considered like the Super Bowl. It had that many viewers. So that's the context of this. Now, next, I'm going to show a video. It's a 4-minute video. It's from the movie AlphaGo. And I'm going to have you guys watch the whole video. And then after the video, we're going to discuss some of the key elements in here. So without doing too much of a spoiler, but kind of like some key things to look for, what you're going to see is you're going to see Move 37. You're going to see it. You're going to hear some commentary around it. You're going to see people, they think that it's foolish. It doesn't make any sense. and you're going to see Lee Sedol's reaction to it, and you're going to see what happens at the end of the game. And then afterwards, we're going to talk about how that move gives us a glimpse, just a small glimpse, into the brilliance of who God is. And also then highlights even what we were just talking about in Isaiah 55. So with that, let me move over here. I will remove myself so you can see more of this video. And let's watch this. It's about a 4-minute video, so watch the whole thing. And then afterwards, I will come back and we'll talk about it.
Lee Sedol go to smoke, and AlphaGo just play. It don't think about the openness will be there or not. So Ajab sees AlphaGo plays the move 37, and Ajab puts the stone in the board.
와, 정말 생각지도 못한.
Value.
That's a very surprising move.
I thought it was a mistake.
When I see this move, for me it's just a big shock. What? Normally human will never play this one because it's bad. It's just bad. We don't know why. It's bad.
But it's a little bit high.
Yeah.
It's fifth line. Normally you don't make a shoulder hit on the fifth line.
So coming on top of a fourth line stone is really unusual.
Yeah, that's an exciting move.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've seen an original move here. That's the kind of move that you play Go for.
Hey.
Interesting stuff.
This fifth line shoulder hit was
I wasn't expecting that. I don't really know if it's a good or bad move at this point.
The professional commentators almost unanimously said that not a single human player would have chosen move 37. So I actually had to poke around in AlphaGo to see what AlphaGo thought. And AlphaGo actually agreed with that assessment. AlphaGo said there was a 1 in 10,000 probability that move 37 would have been played by a human player. So it knew that this was an extremely unlikely move. It went beyond its human guide, and it came up with something new and creative and different.
I am very much watching the game through these commentators. That's the way it works. So when they're confused, I'm certainly confused. At the same time, I'm latching on to the fact that they are confused, right? That is an interesting moment. When everyone else is confused, who's not confused, right? Besides the machine.
I want to see Lee Sedol when he sees this move.
He's back. Lee is back.
알파고는 기실은 뭐 확률적 계산을 하고 그냥 이기기 위한 그런 머신에 불과하다고 생각을 했었는데 그 수를 보는 순간 아니구나. 충분히 알파고도 창의적이다. 정말 아름답고 바둑의 그런 아름다움을 잘 표현한 수고 굉장히 창의적인 수였다.
Normally he think about 1-2 minutes, no more. But this time he think more than 12 minutes. The more I see this move, I feel something changed. Maybe for human we think it's bad, but for AlphaGo, why not?
Go is like geopolitics, like something small that happens here can have a ripple effect, hours down the road in a different part of the board. The game kind of turned on its axis at that moment.
This move is very special because with this move, all the stone play before is work together. It's connect. It looks like a network, link everywhere. It's very special.
Okay, so I hope that you like that. We're gonna unpack this a little bit here. So some of the things that I just loved about that. So going back to the very beginning, when that move was made, when AlphaGo did its calculations and made that move, you saw the reactions of the people, and the people said, that's a mistake. Lee Sedol in that documentary, the full documentary, he even admits, he thought that it was just kind of a silly mistake that the computer made. And when the programmers of AlphaGo looked at it, said, well, okay, what was it thinking? It agreed that the probability of a human making that move was 1 out of 10,000. But yet, that move was brilliant on because it was brilliant and beautiful. That move changed the entire game, and because of that move, AlphaGo won that game. And so I think some of the amazing things that kind of come through with this is, if you think about how God oftentimes, whether you look through the Bible, whether you look through maybe world history, whether you even look through your own personal life, how often do you see something where, that seems kind of foolish. That doesn't make any sense. And yet, just like that verse that we read earlier, Isaiah 55, where he says, God says, my thoughts are higher than your thoughts. As the heavens are higher than you, so are my thoughts than your thoughts, and my ways than your ways. And what this allows, this one example of a very advanced computer program, artificial intelligence program, focused on playing one game, and it's seeming to make a foolish move, but it became brilliant. That just gives us a little sliver into the mind of God and how advanced God's mind is. If you think about how God created not only the air we're breathing, but he created the molecules and the atoms, the material that we are made of. And not only that, he also created the space that's around us and the time that the actual time itself, that he is above and outside of. But so if God can create all of this stuff, and all the living matter that makes us up, how much more confidence can we have that it seems like God is making a foolish move? Just to rely and say, okay, you know what? God knows so much more than we do. Just as this computer program knew so much more than everybody else. How much more does God know than us? And I think if you even look back in your own life, I'm sure you can look back at times of, man, that was, at the time you thought something was so foolish, it was so crazy. And then as time has elapsed, you've been able to look back on it and you'll say, that was just amazing. If it wasn't for that, this blessing in my life, or this certain thing, this amazing thing that happened would never have happened. And so I hope that this is encouraging for you, and as a way, just as a view of looking at taking data science and applying it to the Bible and just being able to see God in a different angle. So I really appreciate you watching this video. Hope that it's been encouraging, and I will look forward to seeing you in others. Thanks, and have a good day.